Hey there, welcome to our discussion. My name is Jocko Kanchefu, and here we'll talk about personal development. That really specifically ties into who I support. People who have finished therapy, counselling, or treatment and want to find confidence in their newfound self. If that sounds like you, whether you're working to better yourself or you've just finished therapy, counselling, or treatment, want to press subscribe. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about why does motivation fail and really what to be focusing on. If you're new here, make sure you press subscribe. But if not, welcome. But just before we get to the video, if you like that one-to-one support, moving from uncertainty to clarity, understanding yourself a bit more in why you do things and how they affect your life, fill out the self-referral form in the description below, and one of my team members will reach out to embark on that journey with you. So, let us begin. If you were to close your eyes and if you're scared of the dark, just to think about this for a moment. If you think about your goals, you achieving them, you touch them, you feeling them, you smelling them, or even just seeing them, how does that feel? How does it make your heart flutter? How does it feel in your hands, in your feet, in your body, in your mind? Because that's the same motivation you use when you set out to achieve something. When you set out to, okay, I want to do this, I want to see this, I want this to happen in my life. It creates that excitement, that joy, that hope and prospect that, oh, I can make something happen in my life. It gives that buzz, that ignition to start something. Motivation. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about that feeling, that concept, that place where it all starts. That's the feeling of motivation that you're feeling right now. It courses through your veins. It overrides your thoughts, your emotions, your mind, and it creates such a strong spiritual essence that you feel as if you're already there. But in relation to personal development and achieving an outcome, not just desiring it, why does it seem to run out? Why does it seem to fail? If we were to think, motivation. Of course, I just said a few things. If you were to think of it, how does it feel? What does it make you think of? So on and so forth. But besides this video, motivation creates you having to wait for it. You having to build up the courage, build up this self-esteem to believe you can do something. And even after that, do something about that. It requires a mood. It requires a certain trigger. Yes, it may come easier than other days. Yes, some days it doesn't come at all. But that's what motivation is. It's to motivate. It's to enact that feeling. So let's look at the other side of that. If you're under stress, if you're fatigued, if you're just feeling discomfort of don't want to do anything that day, are you still motivated? No. And why would you be? Your body's tired, your mind just can't think straight, nothing's really working out in that day. So why would you do anything anyway? That's where motivation fails. That's where you need something stronger, in a more concrete form, in a way that's going to transform your thinking forever. That takes something deeper than motivation. And that something deeper comes from the nurturing of discipline. To nurture, to grow, to adapt into disciplined mindset, attitude, belief system. Discipline and motivation coincide with one another. You first motivate yourself to do something, and then you do it. Then the next day comes, are you still motivated? Yeah, and you do it. The next day after that comes, are you still motivated? Maybe not so much. Are you going to do it? That's when discipline comes in. And the days you don't want to, you still take action. In the times you don't even believe what you're doing is working, you still take action. You times when you don't want to do anything at all, you still take action. No longer motivated by the fact it could happen, but the fact that it feels good, but you do it anyway. You transition your thought process, your actions, the way you see life into just do it. Shout out to Nike. That's transition. It takes practice, it takes energy, it takes time, but it's a huge factor into what you accomplish. But let's just go back for a second. We can look at motivation and we can clearly see thinking positively, having great thoughts, being motivated, ready to go, can all make you believe that it's going to work out, that you got this, that, we're going to achieve this goal. But is that sustainable and effective for consistency? Having to restart all over again, having to pick yourself up every single time as if you haven't even taken the step to reach a certain level each time. Having to, get yourself in the mood, having to work harder than you should for something that doesn't require much more than what you already do. Motivation, it lacks integrity. It lacks the perception that you can do something regardless of anything. It lacks the capacity you hold from your natural self, from who you already are. You have what you need mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. May not be physical as in, oh yeah, I've got what I want, my mind is clearer, yet, but you inhabit that by being disciplined to exhibit it. I'm saying a lot of big words, but what I'm trying to say is you yourself already can decide to be disciplined or to be motivated off the whim of something, to do action, to achieve your goals. To say, today I know what I need to do in terms of my outcome goal, but I need to focus on my process goal. What part of the process do I need to do today that I'm going to achieve to reach that outcome? Discipline to make it happen. Because that's what makes it sustainable. That's what makes it efficient and can create consistency. So we're looking at so much, right? Where we're looking at motivation doesn't last, it's quite clear. And you and I both know that. So discipline replaces that. But in order to replace something that is greater, that takes more effort, energy, and focus from yourself, how do we get ourselves to that stage? I'm glad you asked. That requires a new mindset, a new attitude, a new belief system, a new way of acting to do it anyway. When you inhabit that self, you create identity-based habits. You act as that person, you think as that person, you speak as that person. You discipline yourself to work in a way that's going to yield. You don't listen to the part of yourself that's from the past that says, oh, no, just relax, don't do it, just don't feel like I don't feel up to par. You just do it anyway. You move away from a system and routine that if things get hard, you just stop there. And instead, you try and go that bit more. Whether that's in the gym, whether that's another day of working on your business, whether that's another day of talking to friends or strangers, if that's something you're trying to push yourself to do. You move forward in that direction with the new system, the new routine, the new way of thinking that you execute. But it requires accountability. It's hard to be accountable for yourself when you're first starting out, and that's why I'm there. But for those who want to become more disciplined and not more motivated, track it. Track your progression. You started here, this certain level of knowledge, this certain amount of income, this certain amount of followers, this certain amount of body fat percentage, whatever the outcome goal is, you started at a level. What progress have you seen throughout the actions that you take on a disciplined level, in a disciplined state, until you reach this outcome goal within a set period of time? Because when we look at that process of how you conduct yourself, of the way you're maneuvering your mind, your thoughts, and the things you actually physically do to reach your goals, we then transition the process of things to be the focal point of who you are. It's no longer about the motivation to make the outcome happen, the goal. What shifts is this process is all I do and is what I love to do and I'm great at it. And that vicariously makes this outcome happen. Do you see what I'm saying? We're shifting the perspective that motivation is going to reach this outcome to much rather the discipline of doing things every single day will reach this outcome. Vicarious just happens naturally. But that takes a whole new sense of self. That takes a whole new way of doing, of being, of acting. And that's how I'm going to leave it today. If you like that video and want to discuss that further, let me know in the comments. But if you like one-to-one support on that, fill out the self-referral form in the description below and one of my team members will reach out to embark on that journey. My name is Jocko Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. If you did, make sure you like, share it with a friend or family member you know enjoys this content, and also subscribe if you're new. My name is Jocko Podcast once more. Have a good day, morning, night or evening, wherever you are in the world watching this. And I'll see you next Monday for our next discussion.